The threat's still not over and done with. This is just a cockroach of a storm. The storm just will not go away because that rain, those tropical downpours, are going to lift away off towards the north. Of your storm, you can kind of pick it out if you look closely enough. There it is, right in the center of your screen.
Show all the viewers some really nerdy stuff going on.
Oh, yeah.
I know you're super excited about that.
Yes, absolutely. Look out, ladies, here.
Look at that track. Tomorrow night, Monday night, is when the worst of those impacts will be. So another way to look at this in terms of just how drastic this was for Houston. You got about 31¼ inches of rainfall from Harvey alone. In the month of August, these are your averages. What you're seeing here in blue, these are your averages for August, less than 4 inches. For summer, 13½ inches, or a little less than that. And for the year, you get about a little less than 50 inches. So that record, the one I was just showing you, this one, that means that in Cedar Bayou, just the east of Houston, you got more rainfall in 4 days than what you get in a whole year. I mean, this is just, again, statistically speaking, what we see visually speaking, and all senses just absolutely off the charts. New York City, New Haven, Connecticut, Providence, Rhode Island, you're on the northern fringe here of that very heavy snowfall. Your landspout tornado out there into parts of eastern Colorado. This is about 25 miles to the east of Denver. So you're probably asking, maybe you're asking, what exactly a landspout tornado is. It's pretty visible, sort of in this shot. You've obviously got your tornado right in there, the funnel that's going all the way to the ground, right? We get that. But what's making this a landspout tornado versus just a regular old tornado? Here it is. A landspout tornado has a higher base. It's formed by a totally different process than most of us know for a regular tornado. And here what we've basically got, we got winds coming in like this. You got different boundaries colliding. You ever stood outside in the middle of a summer thunderstorm and get that cool rush of air? It's called outflow. And those winds, sometimes when they collide, they create some low-level twists. There's a bunch of different factors that go in, but in Colorado, because the elevation increases, you often get these kinds of tornadoes that tend to be a little bit different. The way to tell is this. Notice how high up we are with that tornado. Way up there. Typically, you've got what's called a wall cloud, which tends to kind of go like this, and then you get your tornado like that. That's the typical process for a tornado. But when it's high base like this, there it is. Ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining us for our continued coverage of Hurricane Irma right here on WeatherNation. Meteorologist Chris Bianchi here with meteorologist Jewel Barnes as we're tracking this storm as it winds its way on up the Floridian Peninsula. And now we're talking about potentially some of those substantial impacts making their way into the I-4 corridor, including Orlando and Tampa.
Okay, Chris, when you look at the hurricane now, it looks like it's been cut in half. Explain what's going on there, why the southern half of the hurricane appears that it's gone.
So basically, let's kind of branch things on out and show you where the center of our storm is. And this is out of the Tampa radar. In fact, let's actually branch this on out and show you the full radar picture on this one. The center of your storm, you can kind of pick it out if you look closely enough. There it is, right in the center of your screen, dead smack in the center of your screen is the center of the storm. And as it pulls its way off towards the north, you might notice here, once you get below, say, that line from about Bradenton on east through the Treasure Coast on south through Lake Okeechobee, things really dry on out. And this is a dry slot working its way on in out of the Gulf of Mexico. So a couple of things going on here. One, this is simple friction. Storms don't like friction. Tropical cyclones don't like friction. This is the storm moving over land, and that is creating extra friction at this point, and that is helping to weaken this system slowly but surely. There's still, we're not talking about mountainous terrain here, of course, in Florida, and that's not tearing the storm apart, but we're seeing that slow cutoff of that moisture and that fuel source for this storm to continue to develop. So that's one thing that's going on here. But we've also seen with this storm kind of weakening on down, this was a very symmetrical storm. It was very even throughout much of its lifespan, but this is a very distinct, and one of the things that'll stick on out here with this storm, especially with landfall having come and gone now, very distinct right front quadrant. I'm going to kind of circle on in here that area that we're talking about. That northeast corner of the storm, which is usually the strongest component of the storm, this is a very strong right front quadrant, and that's where the majority of the action is right now with the system. So if you're watching this, yes, the storm is weakening. Yes, we've seen those winds go down. But folks, the danger is not over yet. Within these bands, even you head as far north as Jacksonville International Airport, just recording a 58-mile-an-hour wind gust, way away from the center here, folks.
Why do you think this is the most significant concern for tornadoes tonight in that right front quadrant as well, Chris?
Yeah, so that's where you have the natural area of spin. So you've got the counterclockwise flow coming in out of the Atlantic Ocean, and so you're getting this spin coming on shore, and that's usually where we look for that. Again, it's the strongest part of the storm. It's where you have the most natural spin as well, and again, again, when you're talking about a storm that's as violently rotating as a hurricane or a tropical storm is, you often look for tornadoes within that, and we're certainly seeing that at this point. Let's actually kind of zip on in here, folks, and show you some of these outer bands. It's probably within this band. Let's stop this for you and show you this band here, Joel. This is going to be the area to watch for that is making its way on through. This has repeatedly produced tornadoes as well. And by the way, here we go. Let's actually turn this on off here for just a second. I can show you. There's a definite waterspout right offshore here, about 15 miles or so to the east of Oak Hill. That's a waterspout. There's no doubt about that. And this is likely one just to the east of Daytona Beach. Spinner, 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 and this is all rotation, all embedded within this. Another, by the way, that down there, bottom right-hand side of the screen, definite waterspout. And this, as it continues to pivot its way off towards the north and west, you get these in quick succession. So watch as we kind of go back in a few frames here. Some of these dissipate, others kind of reform, right? Notice how it kind of goes away, goes back in, depending on the storm. These often happen very quickly, and you'll see that one storm kind of die on down in a 5-minute span. The next one pops back up, and it's just very quick in order that you see these tornadoes kind of come and go, the quick succession of these. So that's something we watch for, and that's what we're saying. If you're watching this from Daytona Beach, Volusia County on north into Flagler, St. Johns, and Duval County, you are going to be having to watch out for that possibility for waterspouts, for tornadoes, or for waterspouts to come on shore as tornadoes as we head through the next few hours. Las imágenes después de Huracán María son horribles. Estamos hablando sobre pronóstico acá en Puerto Rico y también las últimas noticias. Gracias por estar con nosotros. Soy meteorólogo Chris Bianchi. Y lo último sobre la tormenta, 16 muertos en Puerto Rico, 97% de la isla está sin energía eléctrica y más o menos un medio de la isla sin agua. También el presidente de los Estados Unidos, Donald Trump, visitará la próxima semana.